Amen. Shall we give the Lord once more the best clap offering? And thank someone. Okay. Thank you, worship team, for having this kind of festival of praise or praise and worship night. Okay. They tag different members of our worship team for here in our church, from the midday worship service, international, even from the TGIS and from the youth band. So thank God for that. Okay, now, if we are going to summarize all the things that we have seen here tonight, there is only one word that we can say, and that is godliness. Say it with me, godliness.
Godliness.
Well, basically godliness, because if you will notice and if you can still recall all the things that they have sung, monologues, okay, and even the dance of those things, they wanted to walk in the pathway of God. Yes, of course, there are some sorrows, but at the end, the next monologue, there's the assurance that of coming to God. There's the assurance of walking in the right path, which the Lord wants us to walk to. So therefore, that is godliness. And that is the conclusion that I would like to share with you for my series, for my sermon series for this month of February. Again, church, for this month of February, my preaching series theme is Finishing Strong Requires Love and Passion. Okay? That in order for us to really finish strong, love and passion must be present. And so far, we have learned that all the Bible characters that we have discussed this whole month of February, they presented, they expressed, okay, their passion and their love in order for them to finish strong. For example, if you can still remember David, okay, we've studied David, that because of David's love and passion in his different careers, he finished strong. First as a shepherd boy, okay, and then after that as a psalmist or as a singer, and then he became a soldier, and the last is he became the king or the super leader. In each careers, okay, path of David, he expressed, he showed his passion. That's why in every role in his career, he was truly what? He finished strong. And then after David, he also studied Jacob. Still remember Jacob? Okay? He worked for 14 years in order for him to have the hand of Rachel in marriage. Again, because of his love and passion. It seems, according to the Bible, it seems that it's only weeks or days, that those long 14 years of service. And tonight, church, another Bible character, or character should I say, that I will be sharing with you, in which they also demonstrated love and passion. And they are Daniel and his friends. So I entitled the sermon tonight, Passion for Godliness. And if there is one thing that we need to do and to show for the Lord, for this month of love, is our passion for godliness. Amen, brothers and sisters?
Amen.
And what is godliness? Again, godliness is the quality of being godly or devout to God. The quality of being devout to God. The last song we have just sung is God's love. And that is the love of God for you and for me. But what should be our response? Would be godliness. God gave His love to us. God gave His one and only Son for you and for me, in order for us to be saved, in order for us to be redeemed, in order for us to be strengthened, in order for us to be healed, and everything. And so, what should be our response to God? Our response to God should be, again, godliness. So tonight, from the life of Daniel and his friends, we will see how they persevere, how they pursue, how they maintain their godliness. They maintain their godliness to the Lord. You know why? Again, because of their love and their passion to God. And there are three only important truths that I would like us to learn from Daniel and his friends as far as passion for godliness is concerned. What are these three things? The first is passion for godliness is more important than having a choice foodie. Of course, the word for that is food only. Okay? And we will see that in our passage. However, for the sake of outlining, just please allow me and bear with me, okay, to use the word foodie. Besides, I would like also to relate with the millennials. So foodie, okay? Daniel chapter 1 verses 5 to 8 says here, the king assigned them a daily amount of food and wine from the king's table. They were to be trained for 3 years, and after that they were to enter the king's service. Among these were some from Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The chief official gave them new names. To Daniel, the name Belteshazzar, to Hananiah, Shadrach, to Mishael, Meshach, and to Azariah, Abednego. But Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine. And he asked the chief official for permission not to defile himself this way. The background of what just we read was Israel was conquered by Babylon, and the sacred things of the temple, along with the Israelites, were carried and exiled to Babylon. I'm just simply summarizing what you can read there. And that is the background of what I just read earlier. And some of those exiles were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And according to what we have just read, they were to be trained to be in the service of the king. And as they were being trained, included in their training was to eat and drink the food and wine of the king. Now, according to scholars, they say that according to history, the food and drink of the kings during that time were offered to gods. Because the kings are also regarded as God. Small letter G. So eating and drinking of the food of the king, who's regarded a god, small letter G, and also offered to the gods, is also an equivalent, tantamount, of worshiping the gods. That's the point there. Again, according to scholars and according to history, if you ate the king's food, that is also equivalent of worshiping the king and the gods of the king. And that is the reason why Daniel and his friends don't want to eat the drink and the drink and the food from the king's table. And that's the reason why he asked if they could not eat the choice food. So there's the asking of permission of not eating the choice food. Because according to verse 5, the king assigned them a daily amount of food and wine from the king's table. And in verse 8, Daniel said, no, we do not want to defile ourselves by eating the king's food and by drinking the king's wine. Now, if you will notice, it says the word that was used was defile. They do not want to defile themselves. In other layman's term, the word defile means to become impure or unclean. And we know that no one will become dirty if he ate something. Will you become dirty if you ate a food or if you drink a wine? Of course not. So it is not speaking of physical uncleanliness. But what Daniel and his friends were saying was, we will spiritually become unclean. We will be morally become unclean if we eat such food. That's why we do not want to eat the food of the king. So they were asking permission of not eating the choice food. And you know what? Because of that, of course, the official would not allow them. Because his head would be on the line. He was in charge with Daniel and friends. And Daniel and friends, of course, especially Daniel, wouldn't want that to happen to the official, that his life would be at stake for their sake. So, there's the compromise. Daniel said that, okay, if this is what we're going to do, have an experiment. Let's have an experimentation. Okay? That if we will not eat the king's choice food, just give us water and vegetable for 10 days, compared us with other guys. Okay? And if it seems that we are not that improving or healthy, then let the decision let the decision be. We will eat the king's choice food. So there's the experimentation. So they did that. Okay? Verse 12, please test your servants for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. And then compare us with the other guys. And you know what happened after the 10 days of experimentation? At the end of the 10 days, they look healthier and better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. Imagine that. So the guard took away their choice food and wine they were to drink and gave them vegetables instead. The only point that I would like to see us here, brothers and sisters, is Daniel and friends gave more importance on godliness than the choice food of the king. See? They gave more importance on godliness because they knew that once they ate the choice king's food and wine, they will become unclean. Again, not physically speaking, because no one became dirty if you ate food, but morally and spiritually. And they did not want that to happen. And that is, again, what? Godliness. It is important for them, godliness, than the choice food of the king. Even though, of course, it is the king's food. Okay? Now, imagine we have some chef here. Okay? From the palace. Okay? Now, what do you think would be the king's choice food? Let us use our biblical imagination here, guys. What do you think would be the king's choice food? Of course, if you would ask me, those were the bestest. There's such a word. The bestest and the choicest, the deliciousness test of all the food in the entire kingdom. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Because of course it's the king's food. Now, who among us, okay, would refuse to taste? Who among us would refuse to eat such delicious, mouth-watering food? Of course, none of us would refuse that, right? Because again, no people from the entire kingdom except for the king, okay, who can eat that food. And yet, the king was so gracious enough that because you will enter into my service, I will give you a daily ration of food from my table. But then again, despite of the fact of the deliciousness of those food, despite of the mouth-watering food of the king, Daniel and his friends said, no, we will not eat. And that is godliness. Because they knew, again, once they ate those food, they will become spiritually and morally impure. Again, church, if we will apply this to ourselves at this very moment, of course we will not say, okay, Pastor, you know that our food is good. We prayed it to the Lord and it's not offered to any other gods. So, what is that for us? You know what, church? Our body is the temple of God. The Bible said in 1 Corinthians in the New Testament, it says there that our body is the temple of God, our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, meaning we are responsible to our body. And anything that will make our body sick, including the food and the drink that we intake, is our responsibility, and it is a sin against God. Are you with me?
Yes.
That's the application for us. Again, we may not be in the case of Daniel and his friends that we will eating food sacrificed to idols, and we will become morally and spiritually impure. But imagine that. If we will keep on eating food, if we will keep on drinking drinks that would make harm to our body, then that is ungodliness. We are saying to God, I do not care to the body that you have given to me. That is ungodliness. Okay? That's the fact. And you know what? A lot of people, including me, I will not exclude myself, a lot of people around the world get sick, so sick, not because they abuse their body, not because they could not eat anything, but because they eat a lot of things. Even the unforbidden things. They drink a lot of drinks, even the unforbidding drinks. Do you agree with me on that, brothers and sisters? So, what's the point? What's the point? If you know, or if your doctor will tell you that stop eating this, stop drinking that, because it will kill you. It will make your body more sicker. Then avoid those things, avoid those food. Am I right? Pursue godliness than the foodies, than the choice food. Very much applicable in our days, right? So again, church, the Lord is so good. He cares for us, not only for our spiritual need, but even for our physical need. That body that you are having right now is a gift from the Lord. And how we take care of our body is our gift to God. Godliness. The first one. Okay? Passion for godliness is what? More important than having a choice food or foodie. Let's go to the second one. The second one is passion for godliness is more important than changing the identity. Now, you're getting me, most likely, the reason why I choose the word foodie. So it will rhyme to identity. Again, passion for godliness is more important than changing the identity. According to the story again, they will be trained for what? How many years? 3 years before entering into the king's service, and they were given amount of food from the king's table. But aside from that, in verse 7, the chief official gave them new names. To Daniel, the name Belteshazzar; to Hananiah, Shadrach; to Mishael, Meshach; and to Azariah, Abednego. You know what we can learn from this point? First, they may change their training, but not their identity. Again, 3 years. And what will they be learning for all those 3 years? According to verse 18, at the end of the time set by the king to bring them in, the chief official presented them to Nebuchadnezzar. He was the king of Babylon during that time. The king talked with them, and he found not equal to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, so they entered the king's service. In every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king questioned them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters in his whole kingdom. I would like us to notice these words: magicians and enchanters in his whole kingdom. Question: what were the trainings of Daniel and his 3 friends? What were their trainings in order for them to enter into the service of the king? Magics, enchantings, the culture, the history, the religion, the belief of Babylon. And during that time, Babylon was into enchanting things. Babylon was into magics. Babylon was into wisdom. Babylon was into religion. A lot of beliefs. Those were the things that Daniel and the 3 friends learned for those 3 years. Why? Why is that so important to learn? Because they were Hebrew children. They were Israelites. I don't know if you know some background of the Hebrew people, but according to the Bible, this is what they called the Hebrew children. When they reach at the age of 13 years old, they will become bar mitzvah. You know what's bar mitzvah? Okay, Marcus is nodding his head. It means they will be trained in the way of the Lord. They will be learning the way of God. For them, it is the beginning of the manhood of a boy, 13 years old. He will be trained all the laws, all the Bible, all the words of God. Okay, that's the point. Now, what I would like us to learn here is this. In their training at Babylon, it seems that the Babylonians were stripping them off of all their knowledge about their God, and putting another knowledge of a new God or new gods, the gods of the Babylonians, the enchanting, the magic of the Babylons. They were changing their their identity through their training. But then again, they may change their training but not their identity. Later on, we will see more on that. But not only their identity, but even their names. I mean, not only their training, but even their names. They changed their names. Again, to Daniel, the name Belshazzar. To Hananiah, Shadrach, to Mishael, Meshach, Azariah, Abednego. Okay, let us compare. What's the importance of this truth, brothers and sisters? You know why? When I research, the name Daniel means God is my refuge. It is a Hebrew name. Daniel, God is my refuge. And it was turned to Belshazzar, which means may Bel protect his life. Question, who is Bel? Bel is one of the gods in Babylon. To Hananiah, his name is Jehovah, or God is gracious. It was changed to Shadrach. Shadrach means command of Aku. Again, who is Aku? Another one of the gods in Babylon. To Azariah, his name is Jehovah, or God has helped. But it was changed to Abednego, which means servant of Nego. Again, who is Nego? You know the answer to that. Another Babylonian god. And to Mishael, which means name is who is equal to God. It is a variant of the name Michael, Mishael, but it was changed to Meshach. Okay? Possibly the Sumerian form of the Babylonian seal, Asharigu, which means the shadow of the prince. And this is what I learned also. Just as Shadrach, the name Shadrach means the name given to Hananiah, probably means the servant of sin, and Abednego, the servant of Ishtar. So, the point that I would like to see us here is this. They were changing their names so that their identity would be changed. From having a godly name, Hebrew name, it was changed to the names after the gods of the Babylonian. However, this is my point, church. Despite of these new names that corresponds to those Babylonian deities that was given to them, they still kept their passion for God. They still have their godliness. You know why? Because when Nebuchadnezzar made a decree to bow down and worship the golden image he built, and anyone who would not obey him would be put to death. And it was tested. To those of you, maybe you are familiar with the story. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah stood their ground. They did not bow down to the image that Nebuchadnezzar built. We can see that in Daniel chapter 3. They said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, that is the punishment, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand, O king. However, but even if he does not, we want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. They stood their ground. Even Daniel as well. Again, during that time, the king made an order, a decree, that no one would pray to other gods except for the king. But Daniel was found praying to his God 3 times a day, and he was thrown into the lion's den. That was the punishment. Now, when Daniel learned the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had done before. So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. You see the flow of the story, brothers and sisters? Despite of the fact that they were stripping off their knowledge of God and putting another knowledge, the knowledge and the wisdom of Babylon. Despite of the fact of stripping their own names, having godly names, and giving them new names, deities of the Babylonian, but still, Daniel and friends stood their ground, loved God more than their what? Their knowledge, their identity. Okay? Even though they changed their identity, but still, it is more important Their passion for godliness is more important than changing their identity. Yes, they may change their knowledge, they may change their names, but they never ever change their passion for godliness, for God alone. The last and third thing that I would like to see us here is this. Passion for godliness is more important than living in luxury. The last verse of chapter 1 of Daniel said, and Daniel remained there until the first year of King Cyrus. Until the first year of King Cyrus. Daniel can remain and live in luxury. Why did I say that Daniel can remain and live in luxury? For our information, brothers and sisters, according to the Bible and according to history, Daniel served three kings in Babylon. The first was King Nebuchadnezzar, the first king who exiled them into Babylon. And we know the story, okay? When Daniel and friends were much more intelligence 10 times than their fellow, exiles, they were promoted into a very good position, especially Daniel. Daniel chapter 2 verse 48. Then the king, that's Nebuchadnezzar, placed Daniel in a high position and lavished many gifts on him. He made him ruler over the entire province of Babylon and placed him in charge of all its wise men. That was King Nebuchadnezzar. King Nebuchadnezzar, his son, Belshazzar, rose to power. He succeeded his father. And again, the same thing. Daniel chapter 5 verse 29. Then Belshazzar, son of Nebuchadnezzar, command. Daniel was clothed in purple, a gold chain was placed around his neck, and he was proclaimed the third highest ruler in the kingdom. Before, in the time of his father, Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel was only the chief of all the magicians. But when the son succeeded the father, Belshazzar, he made Daniel the third highest ruler in the entire kingdom. But again, as Pastor Ben Hur was saying, there's more. Not yet, there's more. Okay? After Belshazzar died because he was assassinated, the Medo-Persian Empire rose into power. The Medes and Persia combined their forces. Let us read this. That very night, this is Daniel chapter 5, verse 30, the king of the Babylonians, Belshazzar, was slain. And Darius the Medes took over the kingdom at the age of 62. Chapter 6, verse 1. It pleased Darius to appoint 120 satraps to rule throughout the kingdom, with 3 administrators over them, one of whom was Daniel. The satraps were made accountable to them so that the king might not suffer loss. But in chapter 6, verse 28, this is what it says. Daniel prospered. So Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Have you seen the flow of the histories here, church? Have you seen? Because Belshazzar, the king of the Babylons during that time, was defeated against the joint forces of the Medo-Persian Empire. King Darius and King Cyrus joined forces. They still took Daniel as one of their officials. And they made Daniel as one of the 3 administrators of the entire kingdom. And not only that, it says there, Daniel was prospered during the reign of these 2 kings in Babylon. Daniel was prospered. Now, let's go back again. In verse 21 of chapter, it says there, and Daniel remained there until the first year of King Cyrus. He did not stay in Babylon. Daniel remained in Babylon. But after the first year of King Cyrus, he returned to serve his heavenly king. You know why? The Bible didn't mention this. But in history, we will find out what really happened. Why did Daniel stay or remain in Babylon and serve King Cyrus and King Darius until the first year of King Cyrus only? What happened to him after this time? According to Wikipedia, this is what I found. Cyrus the Great in the Bible. I don't know if you can read there at the back, but let me read it to you. It says here, Cyrus the Great, circa 600 or 556 to 530 BC, figures in the Hebrew Bible as the patron and deliverer of the Jews. He is mentioned 23 times by name and alluded to several times more. According to the Bible, Cyrus the Great, king of Persia, was the monarch under whom the Babylonian captivity ended. In the first year of his reign, according to Daniel chapter 1, verse 21, in the first year of his reign, he was prompted by God to decree that the temple in Jerusalem should be rebuilt, and that such Jews as cared to might return to their land for this purpose. The Hebrew Bible states that Cyrus issued a decree of liberation to the Jews. Point, church, that I would like to see here is this. The reason why Daniel remained there until the first year of Cyrus, because during that time, Cyrus made a decree that all the Jews go back to Jerusalem, go back to Israel, and rebuild your temple. Now, if you were Daniel, you were already living in luxury in Babylon. All four kingdoms promoted you little by little until you became one of the highest ruler in Babylon. And yet, you will return to your land, no longer living in luxury. You will help your fellow Jews rebuilding the temple. If you were Daniel, are you going to back? Are you going to go back to Israel and rebuild a temple, and you will become a nobody again? Unlike here in Babylon, you are somebody. You will living in luxury. What do you think? If you were Daniel, get my point? But we know the story. Again, what was verse 21 of Daniel 1 says? Daniel remained there. Meaning what? Again, Daniel remained there until the first year of King Cyrus. Meaning, Daniel did not stay any longer after that first year of King Cyrus. He went back to Israel. He went back to Israel. It did not mention any longer in the Bible, but he went back to Israel and helped the rebuilding of their temple. Point is, his passion for godliness is more important than living in luxury. He was living in luxury in Babylon. He was somebody in Babylon. And yet he will return to Jerusalem, to Israel, and became a nobody again. So again, church, for Daniel, despite of the fact of being in luxury, living in luxury, but no, my passion for my God, my passion for godliness is more important than this luxury that I am receiving and having here in Babylon. It would be better for me to go back there in Jerusalem, to become a nobody again, but to be in my God, to be with my God, than being here in Babylon, being bowed down by a lot of people, being adorned with so much treasure and gifts, obeying my each every command. I will not settle on this. See the point, church? So again, as we have learned, passion for godliness is more important than having choicy food. Passion for godliness is more important than changing the identity. And passion for godliness is more important than living in luxury. And this is the truth, brothers and sisters, that I would like us to have and to do. Again, in response to God's love for us, in response to God's saving love for you and for me, what would be our response to God? What would be our response to God? First, be passionate in pursuing the things of God. I am not saying that you should not enjoy your job. I am not saying that you should not enjoy the accolade and whatever things that you have right now. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, despite of those things that we are enjoying, but still, We need to pursue the things of God. We need to pursue godliness. And lastly, be also passionate in loving God. Not just loving God, but be passionate about it. Not just pursuing the things of God, but be passionate in pursuing the things of God. Amen, church?
Amen.
Then, I believe, as far as the Word of God is concerned, we are really giving the Lord what is due to Him. God bless you all, brothers and sisters. Let us continue worshiping the Lord.